Today on X-Play. The games you might have missed this year. Darwinia, Indigo Prophecy, and Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath. Be a conventional consumer. It's game time.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is X-Play.
Hello and welcome to X-Play.
Today we decided to look back at the year that was, but not in the lame CNN/Time magazine way.
Rather, we're going to take you back and suggest some games you may have overlooked, but which are definitely worth playing.
It means we don't trust you.
Not remotely.
Among the games we think you are too stupid to believe our recommendations about are Indigo Prophecy, a metaphysical crime adventure with surprisingly original controls. And we also review Darwinia, which puts you in command of a virtual world which must protect itself from some bad code. And later in the show, we'll show you Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath, a fantasy western that brings new meaning to the phrase live ammunition.
We begin with the Japanese RPG for the GameCube that separated itself from the pack with a strong battle system and a charming art style. Here's our review of Tales of Symphonia.
Love RPGs? Own a GameCube?
You're so stupid.
No offense, but the Cube isn't the best console for role-playing shenanigans.
Blame your fate.
But it looks like the tide is finally turning with Tales of Symphonia. Symphonia comes with a cockeyed plot that will surely make the eyes of the youngins well up with tears.
I'm not gonna hold back this time.
I know. I won't either.
But the older set will be put off by the veritable landslide of role-playing cliches.
Ah, what the?
A group of young voyagers on a quest to save the world? Check. Corny lines delivered with little conviction? Yep.
Feel the pain. As you burn in hell.
A moral cranial flogging of epic proportions. Oh yes.
Everyone should be able to live freely, no matter who they are.
And, hey, what's going on here? I don't want to know. As part of this ragtag bunch, the initial quest asks your party to escort a young girl on a pilgrimage to regenerate her world. To do this, she must release seals guarded by various summon spirits. Defeat the spirits and unlock the seals. Seems simple, eh? Except this plot has more twists than a 50s sock hop. But what about the combat? This is one aspect of Tales of Symphonia that delivers, and even those who detest RPGs should give this one a shot. You control your character much like you would in a simple fighting game, and even have a decent amount of control over your other party members, who attack and heal with great intelligence, all on their own. The magic system is also solid thanks to unison attacks, where all the members of your party attack in succession.
Here we go! Photon!
It took us 64 hours to finish Tales of Symphonia. That's right, 64 hours. So you're definitely getting your money's worth. With an extremely addictive combat and magic system and real-time battles, it's the RPG for those who normally detest them. Yes, GameCube-owning RPG fans, the sky has finally stopped falling for a 4 out of 5.
While Tales of Symphonia is great, we understand that adorable RPGs may not be the perfect game for everyone, but, really, there is no perfect game for everyone, except for Sid Meier's Railroads, because it is equally boring to all human beings.
Not every game with a strong story is built on the model of Final Fantasy. There are occasionally compelling metaphysical crime adventures to enjoy. Here's our review of Indigo Prophecy.
Things are never quite what they seem. We think we understand the world around us, but We really only see the outside, what it seems to be.
Do you remember those choose-your-own-adventure books you read as a kid? Yeah, me neither. Let's face it, books are for squares. And reading, well, that's for suckers. But people told me about them, and I nodded and pretended to know what they were talking about. I imagine if you ever made a video game that captured the spirit of these books, it might be a lot like Indigo Prophecy. The story is this. A man snaps out of a trance only to find himself standing over the corpse of another man he just stabbed to death. He has no recollection of the events leading up to the murder and must set out to clear his name and discover the truth.
What have I done?
Or as I like to call it, just another Saturday night. Our tale begins in an appropriately disgusting bathroom. Stop peeing and get out of there! Oh. Turn around! See, now you're dead. Good job. What were you doing in such a filthy bathroom anyway? Has anything good ever happened in a dirty restroom like that? No, people get killed in bad bathrooms, so kids, stay out of them. This has been a G4 public service announcement. You get to play with a few different characters throughout this bloody narrative, switching them often. The first person you get to control is Lucas, the hapless rube in this murderous mystery.
Hello?
Next is Carla. She's a beautiful, hardened cop from the right side of the tracks. Then there's Tyler, her smooth as silk partner.
Hey, are you all right,
It gets to be a little confusing when you're questioning yourself about what you did last night.
I feel tense. I've got to keep cool.
The gameplay is fairly interesting. It uses simple rhythm presses with the analog sticks and shoulder triggers for everything from getting all Neo on the cops to butterfly presses at the gym. 8! That's right, Carla. Feel the burn. Although, a lot of the tasks feel pretty trivial. Do I really need to be able to make everyone in the game go pee? The look of Indigo Prophecy is its major drawback. The low polygon count and the horrid animation make it a bit taxing on the old ocular nerves. Take Kenny here, for example. Now that is the worst excuse for hair rendering that I have ever seen. All in all, not every second is exciting, but on the whole, the experience is enthralling and enchanting. You never know what's gonna happen next or what freaky predicament lies around the push of a button. Indigo Prophecy murders its way to 4 blood-stained knives out of 5.
I'm still unclear as to why the prophecy was indigo.
I assume it had something to do with blue jeans.
Or lesbian folk rock.
In a moment, Darwinia, and later, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath on X-Play.
The U.S. Army Reserve takes a different kind of strength.
Less popular than you'd think, it's Adam Sessler.
Welcome back to X-Play. Since God created the world 4,000 years ago, he's been gently guiding all species on the planet towards their current perfect state. Or at least that's what Kirk Cameron told me last time I was on the internet, because I try to get most of my theological advice from 80s ABC stars. But if we ever hope to gain the power of God for ourselves, we must first learn to intelligently design the adaptation of less complex creatures. For such training, here's one of the best games of the year you might have missed, Darwinia.
From a world of ones and zeros springs the greatest game you've never played, and maybe never even heard of. Welcome to Darwinia for the PC. Now, Darwinia has been on the market for over a year, but the game had a tough time finding the light of day thanks to close-minded publishers. Now it's 2006 and we're all a little smarter, aren't we? And Darwinia is becoming more and more available. Besides downloading it from the developer's website, you might even be able to find this little gem on Xbox Live Arcade soon. And if you consider yourself a true gamer, then you owe it to yourself to track this one down Wolverine style. Darwinia is part real-time strategy, part action, part puzzle solving, with a little bit of bug extermination thrown in for good measure. Players enter a virtual world created by computer genius Dr. Sepulveda, who incidentally looks a lot like Michael Stipe from REM. Mr. Stipe's concerned about the end of the world as he knows it for these little guys, the Darwinians. I call that one Greenie. He's my favorite. Darwinians are intelligently designed, tiny AI constructs that have evolved over many generations to populate this strange new world. They have free thought, free will, and even free, well, not free, but subsidized medicine. Kinda like Canadians. And did I mention that they have tiny little souls too? Kinda like Webster. But all is not well in Darwinia. It seems that some nefarious force has unleashed a bloodthirsty, or rather electron-thirsty, virus on the innocent little Darwinians, and it's up to you to stop it. Mr. Stipe provides you with a few vague clues as to how to eradicate the virus, but it takes a while before you figure out just exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing. The gameplay here is great. Discovering how to create and use your units is really the best part of Darwinia. You have squads for the fierce ground fighting, and one thing you learn very fast is that these viral spiders are bastards. Ouch! You can also call up some engineers for the more menial tasks. These guys look suspiciously like the recognizers from Tron. In fact, the whole visual world of Darwinia owes a lot to Tron. At the beginning of each new board, I half expected Sark to bust out the logic probe and make me denounce my user. Although, to be fair, it's hard to picture what life would be like inside a computer without thinking of Tron. Overall, this is just a great, simple game with only one problem. It's over too soon. So get on the Darwinia bandwagon now before some publisher pays the developers tons of money to do a sequel that's just another Halo knockoff, putting Master Chief Greenie up against some outer space spider virus. We give Darwinia 5 out of 5.
That's the nice thing about computers. They allow you to be God over a tiny baby universe of ones and zeros.
Yeah, but every time I try to play a God game, my little men just keep becoming atheists.
It's okay, Adam. No one believes in you. Doesn't mean we don't like you.
Oh, thanks.
Moments away, Shadow Hearts from the New World. And later, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath on X-Play.
If you're watching TV without great sound, you're missing half the excitement.
It's about you, and it's about time.
Damn, that's a fine piece of Adam Sessler.
Welcome back to X-Play. We're taking this opportunity to look back at some of the games from this year you might have missed. There are a lot of screwy games out there. Power shovel simulators, evangelical real-time strategy games. But periodically, the bizarre manages to be transcendentally wonderful. One such case was a role-playing game set in an alternate history of the United States, where Franklin Roosevelt stops in for a cameo and sexy Native Americans remove their clothes at any opportunity. It's a great game and one you might have missed. Here's Shadow Hearts from the New World.
Sing us a song, Mariachi. Sing of the love you lost on that cold day in Hermosillo. Sing of the flamethrower stashed in your guitar. The mariachi is just the beginning.
Sweet dreams.
Someone has been smoking the crack rock, and I believe their name is Shadow Hearts from the New World. This is the story of Johnny Garland.
I'm the boss, Johnny Garland.
He's 16 and he's a private detective.
Johnny Garland.
Even though he's not old enough to shave, Johnny is the pilot of this crazy plane we call pre-Depression-era America, where something rotten is afoot. Johnny quickly meets Shania and her gun-fu sidekick. Shania has trouble keeping her clothes on. This is what you get when you let a 16-year-old be a detective.
Hi.
Most of your time will involve the RPG building blocks, talking to people, finding items, and leveling up. But the turn-based fisticuffs have an added twist. Once you choose your attack, you hit various points on this Price is Right style judgment ring. Johnny will slowly collect an entourage of freaks, but we mean freaks in a nice way. I love the giant alcoholic kitty cat. You'll need all your allies to defeat your many enemies. Like the math assassin. The cinematics are a visual feast. Yes, of course you're gonna take off your clothes, Shania. And the in-game graphics are beautiful as well. It's a good thing, because if we had to be wowed by the level design alone, Shadow Hearts would be in trouble. I don't really want to wander around hotel floor after hotel floor, going slowly mad. It's bizarre, oversexed, and full of math assassins. Shadow Hearts from the New World is one of the most distinctive RPGs out there right now for your PS2. A 4 out of 5. Now play for me, Mariachi. Play!
All the games on today's show are older, and if you'd like to try one out without having to actually buy it, you could consider renting it.
You know, I hear Gamefly has thousands of games you can rent or buy, so you can spend your money on more important things.
Right, like product integration on a cable show.
Or processed meat.
Moments away. It's Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath on X-Play.
Attention all gamers, X-Play is now interactive and in prime time.
She loves potassium. It's Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now we are taking today as an opportunity to look back at some of the best games from this year that might have gone unnoticed. Now one developer known for producing sophisticated, funny games that have never really been blockbusters is Lorne Lanning. His Oddworld fuses witty animation with a larger, anti-corporate environmentalist message. I know it sounds like hippie crap, but the games are worth playing, especially their Western from late last year. Here is Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Oddworld is back on the Xbox. And it's good. This makes me happy. Very, very happy. Oddworld looks better than ever in Stranger's Wrath. Stranger is the sexy, dark, independent type that women just love.
Never liked guns.
Except he's kinda not a human. And he runs like this. He's a bounty hunter though, which almost makes up for the run. Bounty hunters are sexy. No, I won't get bored of that. And neither will you. Stranger's Wrath blends exploration and platforming with first-person shooting in a weird Wild West adventure. Stranger is pretty nimble in third person as he climbs and explores, and he isn't totally defenseless. But the real fun starts when you make the smooth transition from third to first person. You don't shoot bullets, though. That wouldn't be, well, odd enough. You have a double-barreled crossbow that shoots live ammunition, little creatures you stun and collect during your travels. There are some cool creatures. Smack-talking chipmunks lure enemies to your waiting trap. Fuzzles or dust bunnies that lay in wait for their enemies. The different ammunition adds a bit of strategy and a lot of variety, and they're really easy to swap out on the fly. It's such a novel concept. It's completely random and really fun. If you can stun someone with your microfauna munition, you can suck them up into some kind of vacuum cleaner and exchange them for a bounty. It feels good to get paid for a noble job well done.
Knocking 'em good.
You also get paid by stealing money from farmers' homes and using peaceful citizenry as punching bags. You get more cash for bounties taken alive than dead, but beating the bosses alive can be a bit of a feat. You have to concentrate more on reducing their stamina than their health, and different ammunition may have a greater effect on one or the other. You also have stamina to worry about, and when your health is low, you can, with a shake to dislodge the cleaver in your brain, raise your health back to safe levels. This doesn't mean you won't be challenged, though. The enemies don't exactly go down easily either. There is attention to detail in everything, and both the audio and the graphics are subtle and detailed, though sometimes you can't really hear Stranger's devil-may-care commentary.
Smacking it up in that cozy jail.
Though I think we get the gist. Wholly original, undeniably stylish, and remarkably addictive, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is just what the Xbox needed. A 4 out of 5.
There's always a slight tone of preachiness from the Oddworld games.
I guess it's cool. It's got a political perspective. Just so long as it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay.
Speaking of things that get in the way of games, it's once, twice, 3 times an X-Play replay.
Tales of Symphonia got a 4 out of 5 because it's an attractive, fun Japanese RPG.
Indigo Prophecy got a 4 out of 5 for compelling original storytelling.
Darwinia got a 5 out of 5 for a simple but profound approach to strategy games.
Shadow Hearts from the New World got a 4 out of 5 for high-quality Native American erotica.
And Oddworld Stranger's Wrath got a 4 out of 5 for letting you shoot with bugs.
And on the subject of lone gunslingers, it's time for video viewer mail. Today's video viewer mail comes from Sean Durkin, somewhere in Missouri.
Hi, Adam and Morgan. I was wondering how you felt about episodic games. Do you like them?
When episodic games are based on good games like Half-Life, they're good. When it's something like Sin, it just sucks.
Also, episodic release implies games are going to come out more frequently than the normal gap between full sequels, which, in the case of Half-Life, just isn't true.
See, it'd be episodic, they've given us another Half-Life Episode 2 months later.
But Half-Life Episode 2 isn't scheduled to come out for a whole nother year.
And as for Sin, if you're gonna release a bad game with a bunch of shooting as filler, it's actually better to have a couple of years in between sequels to forget how bad it is.
Also, it's a really nice excuse for publishers to charge you 4 or 5 times the normal cost for a usual 30-hour game.
But we approve of that because we like our consumers nice and naive.
Oh, yeah.
They're easier to grift that way.
If you would like to check out our reviews of episodic games like Sin and Half-Life Episode 1, swing on by our website and find all of our reviews in both video and text form, if you can read.
And feel free while at our fine site of webbing to send us a video viewer mail with your questions, comments, concerns, and fantasy highlight teams.
This episode was brought to you by XPlay.
Us.